Well, we are already having a conversation. I'm pretty sure across the country, in trotros and taxis and in homes, people are having this conversation on the back of the appeals court judgment on the ambulance procurement trial involving the minority leader and Richard Jakpa. As you know, the appeals court has thrown out the case, not thrown out, delivered a judgment that's acquitted and discharged Ato Forson. The AG says, Godfred Dame says, he is going to the Supreme Court. The question is that what is the political cost of pursuing this matter? You know, the thing that you rarely see, to have the Bar Association publicly reprimand its leader. I don't remember the last time that happened.
The Attorney General.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mostly they either stay away from it, even if they disagree with him heavily.
They condemned his use of, perverse and, Roneos and Nembeka and all that. And they thought publicly, national radio, the spokesperson who, by the way, anytime he calls CBI, he says, I'm going to consult with my president before.
Yes.
So that is...
Because he just speaks for them.
Yeah, that is the association's position. And the Attorney General is the leader of the bar. That for me was telling. It says a lot too. Now there's a push by the NDC lawyers who say that he should not be allowed to speak at the bar conference. If he's allowed to speak. How saying, yes, they're pushing that agenda. They're pushing that agenda.
You disagree with me. I may even have misspoken at a point. But the ceremonial role that the Attorney General plays, it's almost like the ceremonial role that the Chief Justice will play. The ceremonial role that sometimes even as president you're expected to play at these events. You can't take it away from the person.
I know.
I hope you get the point.
I know,
so
but that's something they are pushing. But even if
don't let him speak.
Even if you take that away, you can imagine the bar conference with the Attorney General speaking in that room of...
I said that there are things he cannot say now. He cannot say that if you disagree with judgments, don't go out there saying things that suggest that you're attacking the judge.
And I remember when I was speaking to the spokesperson for the GBA, he mentioned that. It was him at the bar conference the last time who was calling out lawyers who are attacking the court because they lost the cases, etc., and that he's doing same now because on the side. But look, this is state of play.
And again, we can separate the two. You can heavily disagree with the court judgment. You can disagree with strong terms, and I don't have a difficulty with that. All over the world, lawyers, even if in countries where lawyers are very conservative, they do that. They disagree heavily. They use very, very strong terms to disagree. But one of the things you cannot say, for example, is that a judgment will promote impunity or abuse of office. It is similar coinage that people took on the special prosecutor for. As if he is fighting corruption, the people are not interested in fighting corruption. Or he is fighting impunity, and the people are not interested in fighting impunity. I hope you get the point.
Yeah.
The position you put these judges is that is not what they are intending to do. And that is a difficulty. It's a difficulty because then you are pitching them against the people in ways that, this man is for us, you people are not the ones for us. And we have a history with how we have treated judges in times past. So whenever these comments come in, it evokes that emotion. And again, talking about emotion, I think it was a mistake that he spoke immediately. Even at midday, right? We in this profession will be interested in hearing from him. But I think he would have been more calculated. And I heard Tuan Eboa later on. I heard other people, their words were more measured.
Yeah.
They were more calculated. So the immediate outburst and response, I do not think was in the right direction. Because sometimes you're all humans. If you strongly disagree with them on something, it may take you to a level that if you had reflected on it, especially when at the time, I'm not so sure that you had even seen the content of the judgment in the first place. And that's the caution they give all of us. Wait till you see the content.
Exactly.
So that you can, because even what we were telling, what people told us from the court, if you read the judgment, it's a bit different from what people immediately told us was the actual ways that people, and the reason for which people gave their judgment.
And you see, when you make a point, because I think that it is upon reading the judgment that you will know whether you have to appeal or not.
Yes.
Okay? This is not you just taking a motion, then they tell you the motion is unsuccessful, and then you say, I disagree, I'm appealing. With this ruling, you wait. Now, I don't have a problem when you want to appeal. I have indicated my position that I don't have a problem when people want to exhaust the legal process. You can exhaust it. You can go to the Supreme
But that's
Court.
what we told the OSP.
Yes, we told
that
the
if
OSP.
you have not done so, stop being out there and creating.
Exhaust the process.
Yeah.
I am sure that today, if Godfred Dame has another opportunity, he won't use the words he used initially. I am sure that, today, if he had to put out another statement, he's not going to say, this is perverse. Because you see, when you use that kind of, statement, particularly in describing the court, and in the past you've had cause to be worried about some of these words being used by certain persons within society, I think that he should have held on maybe, or probably asked the Deputy Attorney General to issue a statement that says, we will appeal.
Yeah. We are waiting for the full judgment. We are interested in pursuing this matter to its logical conclusion.
So that's it for me. As for a decision to appeal, I've always talked about how I admire Chachuchi Kata. Even if he has 7 justices against him with none in his favor, he goes for a review. Because his belief is that you must exhaust the legal process. And once you exhaust the legal process, that's enough. But to be very honest with you, if I were the Attorney General, I won't pursue this.
Why?
Why should I pursue it? I say somebody has done something wrong. The Court of Appeal says he's done no wrong. I've not been able to prove it. There are times that you leave the people to judge.
Yeah. And
see,
because this case has played out in the public a lot, if you read the judgment, you come to the conclusion that some of the things that are being put out there in the public may not reflect the facts before the court.
Yeah.
If you read the judgment, it is so in the court of public opinion, there's a lot of the information out there. You do not necessarily have to relitigate this matter. But then again, I think it has reached the point where it's almost as if Godfred Dame believes of all the things he has done as Attorney General, this is a make or break period for him. I disagree. Frankly, I disagree. I think that this is not the decider of Godfred Dame's fate as Attorney General.
No, it shouldn't be.
It's not. And you see, we tend to, but in any case, how sensible would it be that the man has been in office for 4 years? Recently, he said he has saved us trillions of cedis. Then we say that a single case involving 2.3 million euros is what determines whether or not he's a good or bad Attorney General. I hope you get the point. So I am not comfortable with that thinking.
Even the ENI Vitor case, they made demands for money. They did, which they didn't get. Of course, the substance of the case is that the directive was wrong. But they also made demand that it should be paid some millions of dollars.
If Godfred Dame's only achievement is that it was during a time that that old structure, the law complex or the law house, was completed, to me, it's a massive one. I have queried his track record on delivering justice. But in all fairness, I am not sure any of our attorney generals have been so minded by the justice rule. They have all remained lawyers of government. They have all basically become, they are more interested in how to please their people with judgments.
I remember Chachuchi Kata. In 2002, he was speaking on Radio Good. He was asked a question, whether he feels disappointed by his friend Acquah being the one prosecuting him. His response, and I'll paraphrase, is that he works for the president. So I'm not going to hold him responsible for his decisions because he works for somebody. My point is this. Yes, you want to send a signal. The court says he should be acquitted and discharged. You didn't prove any case against him. Yes, if you are an attorney general, you probably may say, no, I want to show that I had a case against him. So you're going to appeal. Watch this. This is the Supreme Court is going to go, the courts.
They're on vacation.
They're on vacation. It has started, legal vacation. They resume in October.
Should make exceptions.
Well, we'll look at the political aspect of that shortly.
Yeah.
They resume in October. Now, when they come back in October, are they going to hear this case, for instance? First.
Or deal with others.
Or deal with others before they hear this.
On the list of other cases on their table.
Why is it difficult?
They may empanel during the vacation.
If they empanel during the vacation, Why are they empaneling during the vacation?
Why is that question relevant?
It is relevant because there are other cases equally important, like the anti-LGBT.
Is it today or yesterday? Last night, Sam George and Co were in a press conference.
They went to see the chief imam, to inform the chief imam and to solicit his blessing.
Evans,
ahead of an intended demonstration against the Chief Justice on the 21st
basically
of August.
pitting that judiciary
this should not be seen
against a religious monumental figure like the Chief Imam.
Look, Raymond and Evans, this should not be seen as a damaging, loss of reputation. I don't see it as such. Why? You are a lawyer. You go into cases, you believe you've done your best. The judges say you have not. Yes, you appeal. But you see, in appealing, if Godfred Dame had said, I'll study the judgment and appeal. Again, I have stated that I don't have a problem with him going as far as to the Supreme Court. If he's unsuccessful in the first instance, he probably may try, a review. Because like I keep saying, exhaust the legal process. Exhaust the legal process. When you have exhausted the legal process, you go back. If it ends, like the court said one day in a land litigation matter, I said, litigation must at some point come to an end.
Yeah.
So if it comes to an end at some point in time, fine. But you see, then comes the political question. So, what would you gain putting him in jail? You want to send the right signal. Okay. You want to send the right signal. But the court says, you have not proven your case enough.
And I like the enough part.
Yes. Okay, because one person agrees that you were able to prove it. The other said, no, you didn't prove it enough. I say, well, let it be. But again, that's my own position. I'm not going to fault anybody who says I'm going to go the full route, because I say again that I like people want to test the law. But if I were the one involved, if I were advising, I say, let it go. Let it go. At least, you see, this is the other point. Sometimes, just sometimes, for the sake of the country and the times in which we are, you don't do anything that would look like you're trying at all costs. And you see, always, Kandapa's statement comes to mind.
And he has repeated a similar one.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. Kandapa's statement comes to mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Perceptions really matter. And I know Godfred Dame, but I say, at some point in time, the court say no, you can let it go, you can try and go, but if I were Attorney General, Winston Amoah, I won't go back. That notwithstanding, I won't fault anybody who wants to go. I mean, the long haul. But if you ask me, I won't do it. I'll let it go.
I mean, politically though, would he? And that's why I think he will not do it.
That's what I'm saying, politically.
Yeah,
and I am not,
he wouldn't do it.
I am speaking I'm actually speaking from a political point of view. And I say
but you think politically it helps him to let go. But I think it's too late now.
You can let it go.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's too late now. I think he has invested too much in this now to let go. Especially now that there's a defeat. Especially. If you calculate it really, considering what we now know, that the system really wanted this done. Remember, the Attorney General fundamentally is the President's chief lawyer. Mm-hmm. Well, that's not how it's supposed to be. Because it's supposed to be our Attorney General.
And Minister of Justice.
And Minister of Justice. But we know, primarily, he's the President's chief legal advisor. He takes instructions from the President. Because inherent in that arrangement is that when the President instructs him, the President is instructing him on our behalf.
And even though
right?
Jakpa said something like that, I still get the impression that when people are taking on this matter, they take on Godfred Dame.
Yes.
They're not taking on Akufo-Addo.
No, of course not.
During John Kufuor's time, even in Chachut Carter's case, people were taking on John Kufuor.
Yeah.
Not Akufo-Addo.
Because there, of course, Kufuor got involved when he reshuffled the park and brought in.
Even so, the thinking is that President Kufuor was hell-bent on making sure the guy goes to jail.
Yes. But in this case, You see, I think
it's almost as if there's focus on.
I think there are some unique elements here. Also, because of how exposed he's become to the defendant in this case, as in Acquah, in those private calls that he had with him that now become public knowledge and etc. Now you see him right in the middle of this whole murky trial, right? And it's become very murky because of all the things that has happened in that. So now it's become a very personal case between Godfred Dame, Acquah, and Ato Forson, right? Before those calls went public, before the leak, it was Attorney General prosecuting the matter. It wasn't something that we even covered on a daily basis. We went to court, something we didn't even know we'd gone to court. It was no big deal.
Moved beyond the case in ways that we felt.
It wasn't a big issue. I mean, I remember I would see the story somewhere like, oh, maybe the case has been adjourned or something. Yeah. It wasn't a big deal. It wasn't.
Now we chronicle an adjournment and the details in court from it.
Nice. It's a story. Why? Because of the Attorney General's involvement personally in having conversations with people he's prosecuting. And though it's become a big deal. So it moved this completely from a case purely being prosecuted in the court of competent jurisdiction due process to one that is also about what has the Attorney General, what personal interest has he got in this matter. People are asking that question. That is why he's become front and center of this. But that is also why he can't let it go. Because if he lets it go now, he's almost hanging his entire... And it's unfortunate, you made a point. Would he be defined by this case?
He would not be defined.
You see, whereas he will not be defined by this case, because he's done some great work. Negative publicity sells more than positive publicity, right? This is negative publicity for the government, for him, for the party. So when you think about Godfred Dame, you ask any ordinary citizen on the street.
And let's be clear, that office...
Let me give you an example.
Said now, Ationu Tamaklo got judgment. She's not around, right? Mm-hmm. Got judgment.
Yeah.
And that she's supposed to be in jail.
Yeah, I remember.
But that matter hasn't really been front center of anything. It's
almost I was crossing.
It failed or just slipped under the radar in some ways that we did not know.
And listen, the Attorney General is possibly one of the most consequential when it comes to saving the public purse over the last 3-4 years, that is almost 4 years that has been the Attorney General. Because of the cases is one of that international arbitration, locally, the judgment desk is stopped and all that. Great work. Until this happened, young Attorney General doing that great work. It was a shining example for me, who he was. For this not to become the defining case, right? That is why you make the point that it's his interest to let it go. Yeah. Because you see, if he takes this back to the Supreme Court, he is not only setting himself up to be defined by this, he's setting the Supreme Court up for more opprobrium. You see? No, it's true. It's true. He needs to look at the bigger picture.
Because, for example, I'm not sure if Justice Kolendi would be part of this.
He can be part of that. It can be part. Even the CJ empaneling this will be difficult.
People, look at the judges that you are putting on that panel.
Difficult.
And that is why I say,
because this case has been divisive from
from the one. So the damage he will do, not only to himself, but to the Supreme Court, to his party's chance, because they are middle-class floating voters who are looking at it, but I'm comfortable. Professor Piejetua and co.
Yeah.
Those kinds of people, and so they're uncomfortable with it. In fact, the man says, the prof, he says, he should just let the thing go. So that has implications for the party's chances. To the president himself, for him, he's gone. For him, and somebody made a point to me 2 days ago, a party member. He said, look, Godfred is doing this because he's beholden to the president. The president wants this done. We know what the president did when he wanted to Qatar. We know what he did. It's very, very similar. If you know and you follow, like I covered that trial, I covered it.
That's true. And they form
fast-track high court introduction, the movement of was it Justice Afre?
Yes.
And all the things that was done just to ensure that thing causing financial law. Remember the laws that were
Justice Hereta,
but all that was to get the man, and he got his man, right? Then you have this man as president. He has an Attorney General. What do you think is happening? if you understand Akufo-Addo's history, right? But this very senior...
nobody is leaving this at the doors of Akufo-Addo.
But that's my point. That's the point I was coming to. A senior MPP guy was telling me, Godfred, this man that you are doing this for, he's finished. He is lame duck. Next 4 months, he's no longer there. But you, the young lawyer, you have your...
more potential.
You have the potential. I mean, you have the well at your feet. Look. So what do you do at this moment?
Let me tell you something. If you listen to Godfred Dame, the time Big C wanted to pay the money, and you've studied law, so the time Big C wanted to pay the money, he only said, okay, if you want to go into plea bargaining, is it the case that you accept that you are guilty? If you accept, we will sit down and talk, right? All that while, that was his point.
Yeah.
Today, you see others come to say, why didn't he take the money? Even though he didn't say, I won't take the money. He says, in order that I take the money, you are saying, okay, you're guilty, so let's take the money and end the trial. Is that your view? They say, that is not my view. He says, then I can't take the money. But look at the situation now. I am saying that, look, at some point, you may have to look at, one, the national interest. This case is being fought on partisan lines. And apart from that, this is one of the things that may have happened. There are also some people that you ordinarily would have seen and said, these people are neutrals, who have also, because of public opinion, jumped onto the other side and are not on your side. So what do you do? At some point, you may have to look at it and say, no. Look, if the courts feel that this man has done no wrong, I felt he had done wrong. But that's the court saying he has done no wrong. Let it be. Because I also look at the situation that at some point in time, we must be concerned about if the Supreme Court overturns this.
Yes.
What will it even mean for the judiciary?
Oh, that's also true. Because as
but that's my point I was making.
Yes,
what would this all mean for the judiciary?
And see, we are in an electioneering period. We all know that these times people tend to be extraordinarily partisan in their thinking.
Look, and I'll tell you one thing.
And people exploit all the other fine.
There's one thing I've never done.
The reason why some time ago that theory of political question was always to insulate the Supreme Court.
Yes.
Was always to make sure that you do not bastardize or put them in a position where they end up being bastardized. They end up destroyed because they are the apex. People should see them as the finality of all matters. When they speak, it ends there. But we have succeeded, and maybe by their own conduct too, let's also be clear, by their own conduct too. So, for example, like we're talking about, if this case is scheduled early enough, everybody will raise eyebrows. Say, hey, but you all the matters before you. We complain every day that there's a problem with your scheduling method.
And that is why you don't, that is why you don't actually put them in that kind of a position.
We don't put them in that position.
That's what I am saying that, look, our executive, people don't trust it. Parliamentary, legislature, people don't trust it. The conscience of society is the judiciary. And Kandapa has consistently been saying, it is the only institution that we have left now that has some level of trust.
And again, even that, if you track the Afrobarometer reports on trust in institutions, their own trust levels are at an all-time low.
Yeah.
So it is not in your interest to worsen that, especially during electioneering periods, because these are special times. These are not times that people are reasonable. It is just quest for power. Hook or crook, people will get it. And we should be all minded by it. I do not know whether because of that he'll back out. Because you see, the poor pressures, they are coming from different ends.
No, they're coming from one end. They're coming from one end. We all know. Let's call it.
Yes, I agree with you that it's coming from only government. I'm not disputing that.
Not government. Not say government. It's too amorphous. It's coming from the president.
The executive lead.
No, it's coming from the. Why are you being?
But
this is state of play. It's coming from the president.
Even though everybody knows that is the case, nobody is taking on Akufo-Addo.
That we agree, but that's my point. That's why Godfred Dame must think through this for himself. That's why he must. And I'm saying that even party folks are saying to him that he should consider where the man who is asking the president is now and where he is now in his own career, doing great and flying, and pause for thought that your association that you lead is publicly calling you out and condemning you.
I don't know the history to that.
I mean, I don't know
when it's ever been
have you heard that before?
Because they are mostly reserved, especially when it's the leader of the bar.
I mean, they will criticize other things, but to criticize their own leader publicly, that's where you pause for thought. And so, whereas, and if they are not attacking Akufo-Addo, he's shielding him by doing his bidding on this matter. And we all agree around this table. Can he, knowing that Akufo-Addo we know, you think Godfred Dame can tell him that, Mr. President, we lost. It's okay. It's okay. I should just let it go. Can he do that?
But does he have to say it that way?
Or he should just ignore?
No. You are working towards a strong case in response. Mm-hmm. How long will it take? It will take when you come back from leave. That's October, right? Mm-hmm. When they are back in October, how many months to the election?
You cannot, you see.
So you can make Akufo-Addo happy on other things.
You cannot secure, all other things, you cannot secure conviction within the tenure of Akufo-Addo.
Yes.
The way it is going.
Who told you?
Without, hold on a second, I'm making a without.
Having to basically make it look like institutions are compromised.
Exactly. So don't go there. Let it go. Let it go.
How does it do that?
But let it go by not appealing.
But that's my point.
You know what I'm saying?
But you have to to stand in front of the president.
But you can
and tell him why I'm not taking anything.
Explain to the president that at this point in time, it is difficult for us to secure.
That is what I'm saying. Can you do that?
Evans.
Yeah.
If Godfred Dame has done the bidding and willing of the executive president throughout his tenure as Attorney General, and on this occasion and this occasion only, he says, Mr. President, it is not a calculated move for us to pursue this path. I do not think the executive president is that unreasonable. I hope you get my point.
Do you know Mr. President?
No. I think there's a limit to even.
Do you know
people?
Do you know Mr. P?
Yes. No, I want to believe
Winston.
that there's a limit.
Have you heard what he's saying?
Yes.
But he must explain to the president.
No, of course.
Especially when all the implications are on the table.
And you said no. Is that the point I'm just coming? You say he's reasonable enough to
I'm saying that he's not that unreasonable to say that on this occasion this occasion only,
when Akufo-Addo decides to do something, those who know him, talk to them, decides to do something, he's single-minded about it. Nothing can change his mind unless he crashes. Everybody, why you pretend as if we don't know this?
I get that.
So why you say he?
But I also see him that Akufo-Addo has made changes geared towards political gain before. He has made changes geared towards political gain.
Yeah, that is when that political gain inures to him personally. Right now, he doesn't.
But
right now, doesn't.
No, hold on.
This man said he will never do reshuffle.
Hold on.
President Akufo-Addo. Whenever people are raising reshuffle matters, he said, "Oh, why? What's the point?"
But who says
whoever thought that Ken Ofori-Atta will ever be removed?
But who says that?
But he had compromised along the line.
So don't bring it up. Is that he allowed the thing? He allowed the man to choose where he wants to go. Please.
Evans. But who says that? We cannot turn the heat onto Akufo-Addo himself.
Well, but who is the we?
The society. The country can turn the heat on Akufo-Addo himself.
How?
So Akufo-Addo, hold on a second.
With 4 months to go.
I don't want to.
Oh, yeah, that's 5 months. Add December to it.
5 months to go. And you think that 5 months is not a long time for a lot of things to happen in this country. I am saying that. Even in the interest of Akufo. At some point. Why? I mean, at some point in time, you can just say that, well, I mean, when was Ato Forson arraigned before court?
Yeah.
It's not 2021 also.
Oh, no, the E-levy time.
E-levy,
oh, 2022, yeah.
Yes,
around that time, yes. I remember.
See, some things are used to just send some shivers down the spine of human
beings.
That is,
you see, but that's the thing. That is what it was originally meant for. Was to send a signal that if we don't sort of soften your stance on the matter, we will squeeze you. And when you talk to people around this, they say it was never meant to.
And they actually softened their stance. They softened their stance.
Those people remember that time that was complaining here that
they softened their stance.
It was never meant to.
Eventually, they said they are not going to be part of. The thing again. Knowing very well the speaker's ruling, that was a softening of stance. They knew very well the speaker's ruling that if you show up in the house and you walk out, we'll vote.
No vote.
They knew. So I mean, they knew.
Remember, we sat here and criticized that this gymnastics that people are doing.
So the man is suffering. I mean, it's not.
You see, but I mean, Godfred Dame finds himself in a place where, the pain is if he doesn't, look, the next few days, because he said, and he used the word promptly, they will file it promptly, which means that you're expecting the next, by Monday or whatever, he's been filed. I think that, unfortunately, if he doesn't take this advice, this will define him. Unfortunately.
Well, I'm sure,
look,
sure he will.
He's ignored Sewa, my favorite judge, the High Court judge. He has ignored her advice.
To stay away from the case, yeah.
I'm sure good friends of his close to him may have advised him on this man. He probably ignored it. We are sitting here for state of play. We are advising him again that if he takes this step and goes to the Supreme Court, he may win, he may lose. But you know what? He will actually never win. Even if he wins, he may actually never win.
Now, you know that
that's
last
also
year.
Where the difficulty
you know that last year.
That's
even
if it wins.
You know that last year, the Supreme Court on a legal vacation, they don't sit.
Yeah.
There are certain high courts that sit.
Yeah.
But the Supreme Court doesn't sit.
Yeah.
You know that last year, some people tried getting the CJ to listen to because during the legal vacation.
Yeah.
And she said she cannot compel even the defense lawyers or whatever to show up, some of the lawyers to show up. But the Supreme Court normally doesn't sit.
Yeah. And she came to explain.
Yes. And I wonder how that. So you wait till October. So if she does that, we'll refer her.
You see the point? And it will
she has to wait till October.
Again, we agree that the court can do what it likes.
Yeah, but
there are implications, political implications on the integrity of that court. Integrity that appears to have been bastardized over the last few...
What's the time?
No, almost. But Godfred has boxed himself in the corner where he must now file the appeal.
And leave it to the system that allowed that process.
No, he can still decide not to file.
He says he will file it promptly.
Yeah, but he can...
but that was an immediate reaction.
He can just say that I've read the
statement. Because, you see, this conversation we are having today, Evans Mensah, if you don't talk about this judgment this week, and it moves beyond this week...
We'll forget, boom.
We will move into other things, because that's how news cycles work. It will be difficult to explore any other extraordinary angle. I'm not sure how it's going to be.
But if you meet him tomorrow, you ask him, but you say you file. Where is it?
It's not fairness. It will be legitimate for me to ask that question.
he will say, he will say he's working on it.
Exactly. It's not small business.
Oh, Godfred. So yes. I mean, when you see a young man, doing what he's doing, and a young man too, you wish him success. You want him to do well, right? Is he the youngest Substantive Attorney General?
Yeah, looks like.
He's the youngest.
There was also somebody at 41. Say he came in at 41. I forgot the name of the gentleman. There was also somebody at 41. So, the same age.
In the Fourth Republic, Papa Usu Ankuma was not 41. He was more than 41 years. And so he looks like in the Fourth Republic, the youngest.
Oh, okay, Fourth Republic.
Yeah, Fourth Republic. I know of the Fourth Republic, he's the youngest.
Yeah.
Because Papa Usu Ankuma was born in 1958. He became Attorney General post-2002. So he certainly was older than that.
So well, listen, enjoy the rest of your day. Let's see what happens. We are waiting for the prompt filing.